how to create assets that produce passive income. Now, this is a fantasy video and a fantasy topic because so many people walk around blindly without understanding what does it take to make passive income. It's more challenging than you think. And most of us are designed to create money out of an active business. With that active income, you want to start buying assets. So let's start talking about what is a real asset, number one. Then let's talk about why creating passive income fails for most people. And number three, what do you build instead? What are your alternatives to actually get more certainty in getting to passive income at some point in your life and then being able to live on it? So reinvesting your gains is one thing, and selling off and rebuying in low and taking off profits is one thing. But can you sustainably, without creating extra and new active income as you get into your older years, create the kind of portfolio that produces the kind of passive income? So a couple core ideas before we jump into those three topics. Number one, cash flow, in my opinion, is more important than appreciation. Now, that only caveat to that is if you have a really high cash flowing business, you may want to invest in things that actually have more of an appreciation schedule, because all more cash flow does on the asset side is create potential capital gains. So you want to be mindful of cash flow and appreciation. Number two, passive income requires systems and requires technology to hold it together so you actually can track what your personal financial statement is. And lastly, if you actually own it, it creates a lot of leverage, which is why I've done what I've done my whole life. I mean, you can either hand your money to a financial planner and park your money there and pray to God they're going to do something, and they'll probably be fabulous with it. They're going to charge you a lot of fees and interests and commissions, and some are great, some are interesting. So I'm just going to leave that there. But I have always invested in the alternative. So instead of doing a REIT, for example, in the stock market that can end up in a capital gains issue, I'd rather have the real estate itself. Instead of owning, say, Shell and Chevron, Exxon stock and owning gas and oil, I want to own the capital working interest of a well. Those two, by owning real estate and gas and oil, for example, those two asset classes provide huge depreciation schedules, which balances out your taxes. So you want to have depreciation schedules in your asset that also can produce extraordinary cash flow, your passive income. So assets that are invested properly, and again, you want to read the paperwork and understand it. And in my Wealth Cycle Investing book, which I'll give you a copy of the first 3 chapters of my Wealth Cycle Investing book, and inside of there, you want to start digging into the money rules chapters and really start understanding what are your money rules. Cash flow is queen. I always say if cash is king, cash flow is queen, because you're going to need cash flow, because cash flow is that monthly income that pays all your fixed bills. So it's going to pay for your phone, it's going to pay for your any other technology, for your food, your gas, like just what are the bills you have to pay every month. You're going to need enough cash flow to pay for those bills. Where appreciation isn't about income. It's about a sale maybe later in a growth in a real estate business or appreciation in any sort of a business, but it's not cash flow. And cash flow is critical to, again, you creating passive income. So why does passive income fail for most people? So number one, you don't have any systems in place. And that could be as easy as Quicken, QuickBooks, Xero, some sort of an accounting system to track your assets. Secondly, the actual operator, whoever you've invested with, doesn't have automation, doesn't have systems, and now you're just doubled down into you bought into an LLC, you bought into something that you don't control, but an operator does. You're putting a lot of risk on the line without very specific operating agreements and rules of engagement on how that investment deal is going to go. And I'm going to say the number one is this: the lack of education. The lack of education or oversight on your part because you don't know how to do it. See, the best way that I have found buying into new asset classes and new areas is I usually go along with a successful team. I don't just go straight out of the gate and go create it by myself. I go with a successful team to understand how it's put together, how the business runs, where's the lever points to make this asset work, where are the points that can actually create it to fail, and really understand that in the management teams. So I love this conversation, love to teach you inside of this and how you do money rules, how do you do risk analysis, how do you do due diligence when you actually get to the street level of buying alternative assets. Now, while you're here, I want you to subscribe to this channel, click that notification button, be here 5 days a week. We are here with new videos, 20 a month, just to help you get educated in any of the categories with money. Use our playlists, really, really detailed. Go into detail about what do you want to learn about credit? How do you get business loans? How do you use corporate structure? How do you reduce your taxes? We have hours and hours and hours. I think we're going on about our 5th year of being out here 5 days a week. Share this with a lot of your friends and family, specifically your children. Get your family in a conversation about money, and The income side is usually the easier side to bring your kids into. You want to bring them into the asset side of what are you investing all that new money in. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is what do you want to build instead? What actually can work? So you want to buy businesses that actually have good management, good operators. I love buying into franchises. I love buying into businesses that are really well run, construction, land development, all sorts of different businesses that you can look at. And again, you got to start somewhere. So if you have never invested in any sort of an asset for some passive income, I mean, start with some local residential or small apartments. Start with something that's manageable, that you are getting, a lot of guidance around and not doing it on your own. Cash flowing real estate. Now I'm going to expand that cash flow real estate into storage, RV parks. Like a land development can be great cash infusions during the year. So you can build, like what we've done in a lot of land development companies I've been a part of, is we'll build division. We'll go out and get the engineering, and then we'll sell the dream of, say, a piece of land that we had outside of Boise, Idaho, overlooking the river. We put it together as an RV park, a gas station, convenience store, and sold the whole package to a development team and made millions on that move. The other thing you can build is intellectual property, which can pay you over and over and over. Like still, after all these years of writing the Millionaire Maker book in 2006 is when it came out. 20 years later, I still get small little checks. They're small. But when you accompany them with more guidance, more mentoring, more instruction, more training around the intellectual property, that's when you make a lot more money. So look for cash flow, look for systems, not you have to do it all, and never, ever do it by yourself. I mean, you can, but that's like suffering to me. When you should build a team and a system around you so you actually get to step back and lead it, not do it. And that has always been the key to my success, is building teams of people who are phenomenal, where they actually do the work and I'm on the leading team. So if you have any questions about any of these topics, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. And before I end, make sure you grab those tickets to our Millionaire Intensive and our Build Your Cash Machine events. We do them once a month for 2 hours. It's phenomenal. It would change your conversation with money. We'll see you tomorrow.